Hi, and welcome back to Follow Everton. I'm Steve Grant, your host. Joining me today, we have Rye and we have Andy Mabs.
Hello.
Keane Goodison special. So, in this show, we're going to be having a look ahead to the Leeds match on Saturday. Everton's first away game, of course, after they defeated Southampton at home 3-1 on Saturday. Big comeback there from the Blues. So, joining me, and let's first reflect back on that match. Ryan, how did you think that went?
Well, firstly, this is interesting being on the other side of the videos. I'm normally the one asking the questions, so refreshing to be asked some questions for once. So thanks for doing this, Steve. I saw the game on the computer. I didn't attend. I had to give my ticket up.
To your dad. He's not give your ticket up, but you gave it to your dad. So
gave the ticket to my dad. All right. Gave the ticket to my dad.
No, but it sounds like you just gave it up to some. You know what I mean? You didn't sell it or anything. You just gave it to your dad.
He wasn't bothered to go either way, so I gave him the ticket.
He enjoyed it.
On the evidence of last season, who can blame anyone for not being bothered to go to a home game?
Well, he doesn't care. He turns up in a red coat. That just sums up my dad. But I'm just grateful, I think, to get out of the house. But in all seriousness, I obviously watched it on the computer, so I got a different kind of a different view.
So basically, you're being a cop-out.
No,
cop-out for a day. No, just for a game, watching it on your laptop when you could have been there.
Sometimes you can get to see a lot more from your laptop than you can at one of the vantage points behind the
post. Who's this guy on this side? Sorry.
Mabsy, you were there. Yeah. You were in the park.
Yeah, I
was. You've had a few days to reflect on the comeback. How'd you feel about it?
I offer an apology. I think I got some stick from a few commenters not clapping them. And I think they said I was wrong. And on hindsight, yeah, I was. I'll admit it. He showed more passion in one game than Carla did. Fair play to him. So you know what? I have had time to reflect on that, and yeah, I was wrong on that, and I'll clap him now from that one.
It was evident. Yeah, it was evident how much Rafa was moving about on the touchline. He's clearly wanted to do something about that. That's a contrast in styles.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just the passion, and I think he ripped his kecks, didn't he, or something as well? Okay, you couldn't make it up, could you? But it was there. The team talk at half time. He must have said something to put a rocket up their asses. He must have. To say any difference is a load of bollocks. Southampton were tied second half. I get that, but he must have put the rock up their asses. I think anyway.
So. Obviously, a great
question. Yeah.
Sorry, it was me. Sorry, right.
On the end.
Would you make any changes from the side that played against Southampton based on that performance? Do you think that obviously now it looks like Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison playing that game was a good choice, but would you do anything different against Leeds, Ryan?
No, I keep the same team completely.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think you can change a winning team. I think they showed some character and some response, so you have to stick with that. But it'd be interesting to see who's available. It might be.
Would you not put Godfrey on instead of Keane?
Yeah. Okay.
Obviously, big. You've picked up on Keane. Big mistake there, and of course, it's one that we've seen all too often at Goodison. Do you think that's justification to remove him from the starting lineup? I mean, he was a star performer last year.
When you put it like that, I probably actually would start Mina and Godfrey. But they showed response, so he probably won't drop Keane. He'll say that he's in his brain. He can justify keeping Keane in. I personally think Holgate's even lower down the tree because I think he's arrogant and I think he's more prone to mistakes. I think Keane, we just know what his limitations are. You press him, he's good. He doesn't have an option. He panics. So my gut feeling would be, I think he'll keep Keane. I think he'll play Godfrey alongside him. If we see Mina and Godfrey, then fine. But we won in the end. So you can't really. It's difficult.
You can, because he was responsible for the goal.
But he recovered in the second half well enough.
I don't know. My mate Lucy will kill me now, but I'm going to say something controversial. He shouldn't be anywhere near the team. I think, personally, he shouldn't be anywhere near the team. Godfrey all the way, and then probably Mina.
I think we'll be playing chopping and changing all season long with the back four or back five, however it pans out. We asked the question how long Rafa was needed before the last game in terms of how long it will be before we make a judgment on that evidence. Are you more than happy then, Mabsy, with the way it started? He's not had a lot of time to prepare.
You can't not say no, because at the end of the day, he's constraint of the squad. He hasn't got a lot of money to spend due to FFP. Again, still baffles me. We've got James and Moise Keane just taking the mick out of us.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you've also got the 31-year-old who's been arrested, who's not going to be named, but who's apparent who it is. Again, you've got that issue, and it's taken up a lot of wages. And so, you know what? He's between a rock and a hard place, and fair enough. He's only one game in. Obviously, we can't judge him on that. But from what I've seen, he's doing a job for us, and he's making this better. I mean, the first half, yeah, absolutely was not acceptable, but he told them. He's got to have told them in that 15 minutes that was not acceptable for Everton.
Why do you think he went with Gray up front? Because surely Richarlison's a shoe-in up front if he's playing the 4-4-2, but he played Gray up front and Richarlison on the left, and then realised that they're better swapping positions.
Maybe he was testing something out, maybe, but he's corrected his mistake, and that's what you want. You want someone, if you make a mistake, we're all human, we make mistakes, but it's been corrected and it was rectified straight away. You know what I mean? He had the plan A, he had the plan B, and a plan C, and it worked. He changed it. He wasn't stubborn. Carlo was last season. He was, wasn't he? He stuck with the plan. But sometimes, this is what Bielsa does at Leeds. I think it's been found. I think hopefully we can find them out, and I think Leeds are going to struggle this season, because I think he's quite a headstrong sort of manager that his philosophy works.
Sounds good. Mabsy, okay, so moving on to the Leeds match. Obviously, it's a Saturday match.
I'm so moved up. I've got a ticket.
You've got your ticket. So obviously, Leeds United lost to Man U 5-1 in the opening match. Although before that, we lost to United 4-0. So this has got what written over it in your opinion?
It's going to be a tough game. There's no easy games, and I'm not saying it is going to be easy. I think last season did we lose at Ellen Road? I think we did. Did we? Did we lose?
Yeah, I think that was a game that Leeds. I think it was early on in the season. Leeds played a very expansive football that was kind of eye-catching. I don't think it was in the first few games, because as you well know, we were top of the league. But Leeds definitely were playing their best football at the start of the season. I'm pretty sure that was on the away matches. I'll look it up.
I think it was quite soon, wasn't it? Because I think Liverpool just battered them at the start, wasn't it? As they always get the fucking first match for a new promoted team. There's a fucking surprise. Oh, did they get one this season? Yes, they did. Shock horror. Looking horrible bastards.
Yeah. So in actual fact, it was Leeds we won 2-1 against Leeds.
Did we? Shit. Okay.
Well, just shows how long.
I remember that game really well.
Now that it comes back, that was one of that was around Boxing Day, wasn't it?
So was it Goodison the first game then? Because I'm sure we lost.
3rd of Feb. Yeah, it was.
So what was the one at Goodison then? Because I'm sure we lost. I'm quite adamant that we lost.
We did lose.
We were absolutely battered at home. I think they could have been 5-0 up at half time. They just kept running through us. I don't know. I think it was 1-0 to them in the end, but they were totally dominated us. Hi Neil, he's just said, we lost 1-0, confirmed.
Yeah, cheers Neil. Yeah.
We'll come to some of the other comments in a minute.
Before we move on, just to very, very quickly touch on the team news that we know so far. Gomez obviously is out, didn't play a part in the opening match. Rodriguez is in isolation. Moise Keane's unavailable, and Godfrey we don't know.
Hang on, Moise Keane's unavailable. What has he said about that? What's unavailable mean?
Unavailable. I think that from my understanding, he was one of the players that is isolating.
Right. So why is he unavailable?
Your guess is as good as mine. So Ryan, ahead of the Leeds match, have you got any players to watch? Who do you think is a danger man against Everton, and how do you think that Leeds will set up?
Basically, I just want to say that when we played them last season, the reason we won is because we actually run more than them. So they all looked like they could. They wanted it. They were motivated, and we outrun Leeds. And you don't say that about Everton outrunning teams very often. So first and foremost, we've got to do that. And I think in terms of players to watch, Rafinha's a real talented winger, and Jack Harrison on the other side is going to cause us problems. And also, their young England star midfielder. I'm forgetting his name now, but he played for England in the World Cup. Brain fog because I'm on the spot. But
Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, Calvin Phillips. Yeah, excellent distribution, superb. And he's the sort of player we really should have been looking at plucking before he got too big and becomes out of our reach. So those three are dangerous, and obviously Patrick Bamford up front is a goal scorer. And I think Leeds are going to be very testing away from home with their fans. It's going to be a really challenging game. As long as we can outrun them, I think stay in the game, and we'll find opportunities to pick them off, I'm sure.
Yeah, been a good hunting ground for Everton as far as the FA Cup goes, the 95 semi-final, obviously, with Ellen Road. Since then, obviously, we've played limited amounts of time against Leeds due to their not being in the top flight for the whole time. But, one match that springs to mind was the Rooney game that Mabsy and I were at, sat in the away end, and Rooney comes on. Mabsy, do you want to describe how you felt at the time? Ellen Road, Leeds v Everton, and it was the Premier League, and Rooney comes on.
Don't think it was like that game, Steve.
Okay. Maybe we're talking about a different game.
The only ones I've been to West Yorkshire with you, Sheffield Wednesday.
Okay. Maybe it's a different match that we're talking about. Yeah. I've definitely been in that away end, but maybe it wasn't with yourself.
It wasn't with me, no, because I don't think I have been to Leeds to watch the Leeds game, but not been to see Everton versus Leeds. So yeah, that's the other.
You've not been to Ellen Road before.
Not as an Evertonian, no.
Yeah. So just going back, there was a 2-0. No, that's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, it's we all make mistakes. So just going back in terms of Everton's previous history against Leeds, obviously we mentioned that was the 3rd of Feb that we won 2-1 at Leeds. From my point of view, I remember that now, and that is a very good performance from Everton away from home. Then we've lost the previous games. One was the League Cup. We lost 2-1 at Leeds. And we also lost at home 1-0, that dreadful match that everyone can forget. Before that, you have to go way back to 2004 for Leeds v Everton. I think that might be the game that I'm referring to. It was a 1-1 draw in the Premier League. And from memory, I think Rooney may well have played. But you're going back so far, and it just shows you that long gap before we played.
Yeah, because they've been relegated. I remember going to the home game that they got relegated because I was at university that game, because we just spanked them. I think at Goodison, and I always remember I was dreading getting the train because I didn't think, obviously, what stops after Huddersfield, Leeds. So my dad drops me off at the train station. I'm wearing my full I was in top hoodie. I'm at uni going back, and just bunch of Leeds fans. And they've just lost, and they're all fucking giving me daggers. Great, wasn't a pleasant trip. Fucking hell, I remember that.
The match I'm referring to was 2004, which, if Evertonians remember, that was the one before all the big gap between we played Leeds recently. So 2004, it was a goal from Rooney, who scored. He actually scored early on in the goal after 13 minutes. Everton's lineup included Thomas Rosiński, Kevin Kilban, Thomas Ravison, Yobo, Naismith, Watson, Unsworth, Nigel Martin in goal. Leeds had the likes of Milner, Dominic Matteo, Lucas Ridley in the team. It's going down. Alan Smith played in that game. It just shows you going down memory lane. But a match that I recall attending, and a young Wayne Rooney before he went off to Man United. So it's going to be a big one on the weekend. Obviously, Everton will continue to want to make good use of the opening start. It's for Leeds, they've got to build. I mean, obviously it's only one game. They're at the bottom of the league, but on goals difference, and they're going to really want to do something in front of their home fans to get going. They seem so vulnerable, though, Mabsy. In terms of defense, they just leak goals here, there, and everywhere. Surely this is another chance for DCL and Richarlison to back goals.
Absolutely. You know, when the away fans get going, they're going to be so important. 2,800 of us looking us Blues, there it's going to be electric. We'll outsing them and we'll outshout them, and we'll let them know that we are there. Believe me, we'll let the team know, and they will know that. And yeah, I think we can do it. And again, I'm going to go for a 2-1, like I did Southampton. But I think we'll win 2-1.
Oh, really?
It's Lucas Jean. Follow Everton.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
See you later, Lucas.
Lucas Dingo there, obviously promoting, and we do want you to like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and follow us on YouTube. Subscribe was the word I'm looking for. And in terms of other news, in terms of Lukaku's transfer, obviously, it was well documented. Moved to Everton for about 28 million. Now he's moved back to Chelsea for something over 90 million.
Yeah.
What are your guys' reactions to this?
I'm just jealous of Chelsea having them back. I just wish that we didn't sell them. We kind of get a 20. We wanted the 20 a goal season, man, for like 10 years it was, and then we got him. We sold them, and it's just I just still feel we should have put a foot down a bit more. But then I think the mistake was then we had all that cash, and we bought shite with it and didn't replace them, and that's been our downfall ever since. Let's be honest. I mean, we're getting back up there, but we've never really recovered from that. We just bought shite.
You can't buy almost well, you can, but it's very hard to find a 20 goal plus guaranteed striker.
It's hard, but you at least go out and make an effort. We didn't, did we? Let's be honest.
That was one of the players we signed as a replacement.
We signed it as a replacement. Andy Johnson, was it? Who did Lukaku replace?
What do you mean? Who did Lukaku replace? Victor Anachabi. What are you asking?
Anachabi. No, Everton were really in desperate need for a striker that could bag the goals. And Lukaku was clearly a great player, a young player still developing at Everton.
Jelavic. We had Jelavic. We signed him. He was brilliant. And then he went shit. Yeah. And then we had him and Ichibi. So we sold him, got Lukaku on loan.
That's right. Jelavic played pretty well, but obviously he wasn't a long-lasting player. And then Lukaku played excellent and didn't stay very long. And it was familiar territory. It just shows what a great player Everton had at that point, and also some of the developmental work that Duncan Ferguson did with him to help his hold-up play. He's really built on his prowess, and he's a different player now. I mean, in terms of how he plays, obviously one of the top scorers in the Euros, and I think we all wish him well. So just to wrap up,
not too well.
Not too well, because I'm sure he will do well against Everton. Chelsea, I've got to be one of the favourites. I mean, we don't often talk about other sides and who's your favourite for the title. Let's just get that out of the way while it's early in the season so we can look back and have a laugh. Pick your winner.
Chelsea.
Mabsy's saying Chelsea. Ryan, do you agree or see different?
I don't know yet. It's too early. I'll back Mabsy on that because I think Lukaku will transform them. I mean, let's be honest. They won the Champions League last year and they didn't have a striker. City haven't signed a striker yet, and I think they will get caught out with that in certain games because Aguero is gone. I think United could be closer this season, but it's going to be difficult. We'll have to see how consistent they are. I think Chelsea's a very safe bet. I mean, you could say the defence and midfield probably centre back. Maybe they're not quite as good as a couple of the other teams, but I think on paper you look at them and it's hard to argue with Chelsea. But one thing I will definitely say is that Chelsea, United, Liverpool, and Man City are going to the gap's increasing with these signings. Lukaku, as good as Calvert-Lewin is, there's just not really a comparison, is there?
It's a shite, not Liverpool.
Well, the bookies do disagree with you guys. They've got Man City at pretty much evens, 11-10. Chelsea are there at 7-2. So, it's an outside bet if you really think Chelsea.
So I might put a 5 on that, to be fair.
Yeah, Liverpool 4-1. United are 11-2. They've started like a house on fire, but obviously the bookies don't think that they're going to stay there. Spurs 40-1 and Leicester 40-1. So
where are we?
Everton are so far down that they're actually not even in the frame. So, but I suppose on that, it's way too early to tell where we might finish. I think that we've just got to take one step at a time. It doesn't look like there's going to be much transfer activity imminently. Certainly, we've not heard too much positive news, Ryan.
Not particularly. I mean, it seems to have gone awfully quiet in terms of the transfers incoming. But from what I've been reading, we're looking at a player called Correa. I don't know whether I've pronounced that well. He's an Argentinian international winger at Lazio, and his statistically looks very good. He's got a good reputation, and there's talk that we've had a £30 million or some sort of bid. I don't think it was 30 million. I think they want 30 million, and we've bid 12 million. And it's been rejected, and they're negotiating. And it would make sense that we haven't signed anyone because we're waiting for certain players' availability and certain market prices to drop. So I'm quietly confident we'll get in a couple of players before next week. Sorry, not before next week. Before the end of August. Another link we had was with a right back, a Portuguese right back. I think his name is Buta. I've been watching a little bit on him, and he's a young right back, and the fee is £3 or £4 million. For me, that would show: is he coming as first choice? Is Coleman this season's right back? And is this merely a young player to come and challenge, or are we skinned? With regard,
I don't think we're skinned. I think it's just keeping the FFP down, and I think there are other clubs you look at. I think Barca's the famous one that even they're now getting screwed by FFP. I mean, the idea was obviously to keep the lower teams down. Now it's affecting the big boys. Do you think it's going to last a lot longer, much longer?
Look at PSG. Look at Man City. They signed Grealish 100 million. PSG are talking about getting Ronaldo now or something. I mean, it's getting ridiculous.
I get what you're saying. But
Ronaldo and Messi in the same team.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, right? But I think it's because Barcelona have been slowly building up. Man City haven't had that chance, and I don't think Man City or PSG give a fuck about it, about FFP. Let's be honest.
They're too big to get fined. They're too big that they don't care. They're never going to get kicked out of the league. They're never going to get points deducted. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I think you should Everton should take that philosophy. Well, you know what? We've had COVID. The revenues have been down. So, why can't we just have a splurge and just try and argue the fact? And even what is it, 20 grand fine? City got first time for doing it.
Well, I read a lot of people saying on the internet they were really upset that Man City in particular and some of the other teams, it's a really small fine for trying to leave the league, yet we're able to invest £100 million in a single player. What does that say about the integrity of this competition? When you've got a team like Everton that's desperate to invest money, and we're looking at Portuguese right backs, with all respect, 3-4 million quid. Yeah, he looks like a player with a lot of pace and physically decent, but I don't think we would be looking in this market if the opportunity was there to actually spend the money that the owners want to. Or do you think the owners don't want to spend the money. What do you make of this?
I kind of, I don't know, because on one hand you're paying Benitez a stupid amount of money by all rumours. Even if it's 7 million, it's still a lot of fucking money, right? And so they're not shy at spending, and they haven't been shy at spending. But I just think they're scared. You know,
do you think there's an element there where if Everton show how much money they've got, that people might?
And this is another thing as well. Well, yeah, exactly. Again, that's the problem is.
I mean, prices have been so inflated. There's just generally been less activity.
Are we trying to pretend to be skint to get prices down? But
I don't think there's too many.
With Matthew Hoppe at Schalke, I mean, this has turned out to be just rumours, but he's a young and American 20-year-old forward. I mean, I find it's almost like we're going back to the Moyes sort of era of shopping around. I don't mind it as long as the players are successful. I think it's just going to take time. Steve, before you go, obviously we're going to do. I think we'll probably do a preview for a proper preview in depth for Leeds on Friday. But I don't know whether you want to go through the comments as well just before we go. And in terms of who I would buy, if that correct question directed at me, I think the Correa one would get a few heads turning. He's a cool Argentinian international. I think that would perk up the fans a little bit, and they need a bit of a boost. I don't know about the situation at right back. It almost seems like we're accepting Kenny, I think, for the season, which is a bit of a worry, really. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think right back is definitely something we need, and I think we made a crucial bloody error in letting Dumfries go to Inter. You know, I think they spent. I think they got 120 million or something for the two players that they sold, and they've got Dumfries and then Jacko for like 10 million or something ridiculous. Replaced them with or 20 million, and I think we've missed out on him, and I think we should have done it before the Euros. It almost seems like to us we are scouting for other clubs at the moment. You know, we are kind of unearthing these gems. And then the other teams like, oh yeah, actually, yeah, he's quite good. Yeah, we'll have him, and we've got a bit of cash, so we'll buy him. I don't know what's going on with James. If he doesn't want to be here, just go. Honestly, I don't understand what's stopping them going. The most Keane ones situation's mad to me, because at the end of the day, he doesn't want to play for us, but he's not good enough to be signed by other teams. You know what I mean? It seems weird that he thinks he's better than he is. And
the concern for me with James is the work rate. I mean, he's clearly very fantastically talented, but when Everton have played him in the lineup, it's resulted in gaps, and we just haven't been able to really keep pace with teams. I mean, it will be a different kettle of fish this year with fans inside stadiums, and hopefully the home form will improve. Well, it can only really get better. I don't think it could get any worse. Neil Michael says he wants to buy these sorts of players, Correa and Buta, rather than the cast off from Man U. I think he's right.
Yeah.
We do sometimes. It can be sometimes like the second-rate players that end up at Goodison. I think that there was a sense last year when we had numerous chats that there was a massive clear-out needed. And certain former captain and vice captains are no longer a part of the fold right now. And there are players that are going to be having to leave, really. It's got to be an overhaul. Rafa really needs to see this as a project. It's not a quick fix. And maybe he just doesn't want to make the changes right now. What do you think? Who would you buy right now? Perhaps you can let us know on our next show on Friday, when Follow Everton team will be previewing the Leeds United match, a Saturday match at 3:00 kickoff. So that's pretty much all we've got time up for. We've wrapped up with some great transfer talk. It's been a great opportunity to look back against the Southampton match and have some great banter with the team. So join us on Friday for the preview for Leeds v Everton. For now, thank you for joining us. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Steve Grant, your host here at Follow Everton.